Dear Prime Minister, you owe charities £425 million, and it is now time to settle your debts. This time last year, at the closing of the Olympics, I appealed to you on behalf of thousands of charities across this country to give back money that was taken from the charitable sector without its consent. This money would have provided homes for the homeless, food for the hungry, safe places for the vulnerable, comfort for the abused, hope for the helpless. All the things you say your government cares about. Yet despite the hundreds of letters we and our thousands of supporters have written to you and your ministers, at best we have been given complex bureaucratic explanations by your civil servants or drip-fed tidbits of information. And at worst, we've just been completely brushed off. Our requests to meet with you and your ministers and officials to talk about how we can find a way forward have been rebuffed or ignored. We have been essentially told to go away and stop making a fuss. Well, we won't. The agreement between your government and the Mayor of London to repay money owed to charities is not worth the paper it's written on. You say charities will benefit from the sale of Olympics assets. However, as we now know, most of the Olympics assets, such as the stadium and the media village, are being leased, not sold. So this is not technically true. In effect, private companies and public bodies are going to receive substantial financial benefits from these assets, which were paid for with lottery money. Charities won't. It's an outrage. West Ham United and their wealthy owners will get the use of the Olympic Stadium, part paid for with lottery cash, for a pittance. The consortium of companies taking over the media centre, iCity, will have the benefit of ultra-modern IT infrastructure in the nation's capital for the next 200 years. But what about those charities whose money it should have been in the first place? What did they get out of these deals? Zero. Zip. Zilch. This is precisely the kind of chicanery your party criticised the last government for indulging in when you were in opposition. How can you support it now? In fact, the House of Commons Public Accounts Select Committee echoed our concerns when it reported recently on the Olympics. They said, and I quote, "Lottery good causes lost money. They need to be assured that they will get some of this back. The lottery provided more than £2 billion towards the cost of the Games, but has little influence over decisions by the London Legacy Development Corporation. It is not clear that their interest is being adequately promoted and protected." And further, the committee is concerned that the lottery good causes do not have any clear influence over decisions about future sales, despite these decisions directly affecting how much will be available to them and when. To add insult to injury, your sports minister recently informed Parliament that £528 million of unspent funds will be returned to the Treasury's coffers, rather than to repay the lottery good causes which had to sacrifice to support the Games. This is wrong. This money is not the government's to keep. Lottery money is not tax revenue. It exists to support charitable causes, not to fund large-scale government infrastructure projects or to plug the hole in the deficit. And saying that most of the lottery money taken to support the Games has been spent, whilst the Exchequer's has not, is a technical argument that does not hold water morally. It does not reflect the spirit of the law. You know full well that many charities across this country are struggling to continue to provide vital support to millions of people in need. They face rising costs, increasing demand, and a much more difficult fundraising environment. The money you owe charities would allow at least 10,000 of them to help at least 8 million people. You say there's no money, yet you've just found £500 million for hospitals. And by the way, the National Health Service would collapse if it wasn't substantially subsidised by the time and money donated by charities and their volunteers. £425 million is a tiny amount in the context of government spending, less than 0.5%. So, Prime Minister, we are not celebrating on this Olympics anniversary. We believed in you. We genuinely thought that you would have resolved this issue by now, and you haven't. But we still have hope and faith that you will do the right thing. Charities can't wait another 10 or 20 years for politicians to right this wrong. Well before then, thousands of charities will have had to close their doors for lack of support. Their beneficiaries will be beyond help. You and your colleagues will be dead or long since retired, and your legacy will be that you did not give back charities the money that was taken from them. Prime Minister, I will not stop asking for you to refund the big lottery fund, the £425 million that was taken from it. Please.